everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina and this is my Flosstube where I talk all about my cross stitch projects. Anyone who is new here, thank you for joining in, and to everyone who is returning, thank you so much for checking out another video. I was supposed to be back last week, but I didn't make it because it just got really busy and I just didn't have a chance to film last week. And instead of filming yesterday and then having like one leftover Mania project, I decided just to finish off Mania and film today so that we could have Mania wrapped up. So today is Saturday, June 1st. And in this video, I'm going to, first, I have a bit of shop news. Then I have some whips that I worked on that were not part of Mania. And then I also have all of my Mania starts for the last 2 weeks. So we have, I think, 16 of them to finish off Mania. So let's get started. First off, June's pattern for my monthly houses series will be going up into the shop by the end of the weekend. I'm not sure if I'll get it up today or tomorrow. It's gonna just have the mock-up. I'll put the mock-up here of what June's pattern looks like. I just haven't quite finished stitching the model yet, and I'm working on that now. So I'll put it in the shop with the mock-up, but I will update that once I finish stitching the model. I think it'll only be like a couple days until I finish it. But I wanted to get June's pattern up in case anyone is looking to stitch it. Okay, and the second bit of shop news is that you may have seen I posted a short video last week that I have begun charting full coverage patterns. So these are all licensed pictures that I've gotten permission to use, and I'm charting them as full coverage patterns. I'm gonna put some pictures here of these are the ones I have in my shop right now. I think I have 9 or 10 of them up there right now, and I'm working on charting more. I have some more images to chart as well. So I'm going to be adding pictures as we go. They're currently for launch. They are currently on sale, 25% off for the full coverage patterns, and that will go until June 8th, I believe it is. It'll be next Sunday. I believe that's June 8th. Anyway, so if you want to check out any of my full coverage patterns, I would really appreciate it. And if there's anything that you are interested in seeing me chart, then just let me know. You can leave a comment below or you can send me a message on Etsy. I will put the link to my Etsy shop, which is Sweet Violet Stitch Co., and I will list that in the description box below. So I want to show you, of course, well, it's pretty dangerous that I'm charting my own full coverage because now I just want to stitch everything. So I ended up starting 3 full coverage projects out of the ones that I charted. So the first one that I started was the reading nook. So this is what the piece will look like when it's done. And then this is where I am right now, which is right here. So I just started. Oh, sorry, I have hair. I just started and I've done 1,240 stitches in this so far. And that's of a total of 183,400 stitches. So one of the things that I was trying to balance when I was charting these patterns was I wanted to make sure there was enough detail in them, but that they weren't becoming like huge patterns. I know that there are a lot of patterns out there now that have gotten quite big. I've seen it's been like somewhat of a trend that the full coverage patterns are getting quite big, and that's good for detail. You can get a lot of detail in a big pattern, but on the other hand, it also will take a lot longer to stitch. And so when I was charting, I was trying to find that balance between enough detail that the image looks really good, but that is also not humongous, and it is achievable within, you know, however many years. So the 3 I'm showing you today are all under 200,000 stitches. I think that's a pretty good size. And but I do have some images that will likely be bigger than that just because of the detail, and I want to make sure that the detail is still there. Okay, so that was the first one. The second one I started was Paris Cafe. So this is a picture here of what the finished piece would look like. And then this is what, let me see. I'm just trying to figure out which way this goes. There we go, it goes like that. Okay, so there it is. So this is like, down here is like the storefront, as you can see there. And this one, I've done 1,144 stitches, and the total stitches is 184,900 stitches. So that is Paris Cafe. And then the third one that I started was Groovy Getaway. So this is what the piece will look like when it's done. And let me grab it. This one is still in my Q-Snap because this is one I was most recently working on. But this is where I'm at now. So I started here. These are all the trees in the top. You can kind of see the branches, the shape of the branches. But this is where I started. This one I've done 1,341 stitches. And this total piece is 168,300. So, and that is where I'm at. This is a one I'm probably going to keep working on. Probably later today, whenever I have some stitchy time today. Okay, next up we have whips. So I worked on 4 whips that was outside of Mania. So the first one, I believe I showed you this last time, but it wasn't done or anything. It's still not done, but this is the Arctic Animals Stitch Along from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this clue number 1 is out right now. Let me try and fold this so you can see it better. This is what it looks like. It looks almost done, but I'm actually just missing a color for down here. And then there's a couple stitches in the voile. Both of the voiles need a couple stitches that I didn't have the color, and Michael's was out of it. So I'm just waiting to get that, and then this will be done. It's not too many stitches left. I would say less than 100. So this was my daily 100 piece until I got to this finished point. I started this on May 14th, 2023. And this is a 14 count Charles Craft Ada from Michael's, and we dyed it using Rit dye to get this. It's kind of showing up a bit lighter on camera than it is in real life. It's actually like, I don't know where to get the right color. It's, yeah, I don't know. It won't show up as dark as it is, but it's a bit darker than this in real life. The camera's making it look a bit lighter. But we really liked dyeing this, and we liked how it turned out. So this is the Arctic Animal style. I did 1,148 stitches on this. And once I get the 2 colors, I will finish the rest of that. Next up that I worked on was my Whip Go goal. I needed to do 1,500 stitches on trimming the tree. This is a full coverage piece charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Terry Redland. So I'll put a picture here. This is what the finished piece would look like. And this is where I got to now. Let me put a picture. This is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And then here it is now. Try and do them side by side for you. So I did a lot of the stitches, the blue down here. And then I started working a bit on the black. This, I did 1,542 stitches on this to meet my Whip Go goal. So that is trimming the tree. Next up, I decided, since my daily 100 on Arctic Animals was done, I decided to pull out something else for a daily 100. And I always keep, so I do most of my stitching upstairs after the baby is sleeping. But during the day, I like to keep a small piece downstairs so that if she's just playing independently, then I can put a few stitches in here or there. So I end up picking usually a small piece to keep downstairs. So I pulled out Crab Dance by Tiny Modernist. So this was a Mania start. I can't remember what day I started this now, but I'm going to put a picture of where it was the last time you saw it and where it is now. So I think what I worked on was these, this few stitches over here in white and then the star down here. And I think I also worked on some of the leg down here. And then I think I put in this piece up here. So I did 242 stitches on this. It's not much, but I don't really get a lot of stitching done downstairs. I just like to have something there, just if I do get the chance, then I'll do some. But I usually don't really expect to get much done on it. So 242 stitches. Then I worked on my Heaven and Earth Design Stitch Along, 2024 Stitch Along. I'm doing the mouse, and part 2 is out now. Part 3 is going to come out, I believe, August 1st. March, April, May, June. Oh no, July 1st. It should come out July 1st. So I am a little bit behind because I wanted to finish part 2 before part 3 comes out. I'm a bit behind on that. I'm not sure if I will, but I'm just working away at it. So let me see if I can put a picture in of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And then this is where I'm at now. So I did a lot of stitching down here in this area. And this, I did 2,465 stitches in May. So I'm a little bit behind on, well, quite a bit behind on my goal. I wanted to do 5,600 stitches a month to finish this before part 3 comes out. I only got like 3,000 stitches in April and 2,465 in May. So I am quite a bit behind on that goal, but I will just continue working on it throughout June and see where we get to. If I don't finish part 2 before part 3 comes out, that's fine. I will just adjust my goal for then. And if you can see, this is a little needle minder. It's a little Pokemon needle minder. I got this from Outlaw Stitching on Etsy. Okay, so that is done. Okay, so that's everything outside of Mania that I've worked on in the past 2 weeks. And now I can show you my Mania starts for the last 2 weeks. So the first one you saw in my last video, I showed it. I had only done like 7 stitches, so I said I was going to keep it out to get at least to 100. So that was this one, which is Mouse's Halloween Stitching by Tiny Modernist. I started this on May 16th. I had only done 7 stitches previously, so I kept it out so that I could get to the at least 100 on it, and so that's what I did. I did another 116 stitches, and so it's kind of hard to see from far back, but you can actually see it in real life. That's where I got to. I worked on the mouse, and this is a 32 count linen in willow green. When I pull it back, this is more accurate to the color, but when I come close, it kind of washes it out. So this is Mouse's Halloween Stitching by Tiny Modernist. Next, we had for May 17th, the pick was Babies Don't Keep by Shane and Christine Designs. Here's a picture of what the finished piece would look like. And then this is where I got to. I did this one flower here. This is a 36 count linen in flax, and I did 115 stitches on that to get there. This pattern, it actually doesn't have as many stitches as you would think, judging by the size, but there is a lot of back stitching, so that's what makes up a good portion of the pattern. Okay, next up we had Spring Quaker by Leela Studio. So this is what the piece looks like. I have the paper pattern for this, and because I have the paper pattern, I don't actually know how many stitches I got done on this, but I will show you where I got to. I'm stitching this 1/1. This is a 40 count Newcastle linen in sand, and so I just did the A. I'm using all the called for threads, so it's a combination of DMC and Classic Colorworks. And so that is where I got to. I'm not sure how many stitches are in that little A, but not very many. So that is Spring Quaker by Leela Studio. I've had that pattern in my stash for a while. Like I want to say like well over a year, and I just haven't started it yet until now. Okay, next up we have Summer Waltz from Carolyn Manning Designs. So this is what the finished piece would look like. And this is where I got to on that. I started this on May 19th, and this is a 32 count Lugana. It's a light blue color, but I don't know what the color is called. And I did 105 stitches on this piece. Okay. Next up, we had Another Month from Crescetta Go-Go. So I've been doing all 12 months. We're in my wheel for start. And so I have May was the next one. And so this is where I am on that. I did there's 2 flowers here. I did 111 stitches on this for May 20th start. Okay. Then next up I had Clandestine by Long Dog Samplers. This is what the finished piece would look like. This is one of their peccadillos, which are like smaller versions of, I wouldn't say versions because it's not identical to any of their bigger pieces, but they're just like smaller patterns because long dogs generally are quite big and these are smaller pieces. So this one is, I'm gonna see how many stitches is this total. Let me just check here. Clandestine is 6,000 stitches. So versus like another long dog, like Before I Sleep is like 30,000, 20,000 stitches, or like Pandemic is 77,000 stitches. So these are just like smaller patterns that are in the same style as a bigger long dog. So I really like these because they don't take as long to finish. So Clandestine is only like 6,600 stitches. So that's like a lot more doable than one of the big ones. You can finish it a lot quicker than one of the big ones. So this is where I got to. And I am planning to do like 2 colors on this. I'm working on I use Markup RXP, and so I'm kind of like going through and just changing where I want each color so I can see kind of what it's going to look like. And I started this on May 21st. This is a 36 count linen by Vicki Clayton. I don't know what the color is called or anything. And this is 117 stitches done on that. Then I moved on to Farmhouse Christmas by Little House Needleworks. I'm going to put a picture of what the full piece would look like because I do plan on, this is like a 9-part series, I believe, and I'm planning to stitch all 9 together on this one piece of fabric. And there is like a complimentary border that you can get on the Little House Needleworks website if you are stitching it all together, and you can put this border around it. So I started working on the border part. So this, I started on May 22nd. This is a 36 count linen in natural. I'm using all the called for colors. I think it's Classic, Colorworks, and DMC. And I did 126 stitches on this. So, and then we had next Goldfinches by Owl Forest Embroidery. So here's a picture of what the finished piece will look like. And this is where I'm at on that. So I did that first motif in the corner. I started this on May 23rd. This is a 32 count Belfast linen in Moon Dust. And I am stitching this 2/2 using the DMC conversion that's in the pattern, because I believe all of Owl Forest patterns are charted using their own threads. They have their own overdyed threads. And I just used the DMC conversion that they provide in the pattern. So 234 stitches done on this one. Next, we had the next 3 spins were all monthly pieces. So we had first, we had February. So I got the month written out, February. I started this on May 24th, and this is 144 stitches. Then we went to June. So here's June. Strawberries and the border that I started. I started this on May 25th, and this is 120 stitches. And then the next call was July. So we went over here to July, which is sunflowers. And one thing that I like about the Cressida Go-Go monthlies is that July is not patriotic. I'm in Canada, so a lot of the 4th of July patriotic stuff doesn't apply to me. There's not really a lot of Canada Day. Like Canada Day is July 1st. So it would work for July too, but you don't really see a lot of patterns like that. And so a lot of the patriotic July, like usually when you look at a month, they have like 4th of July in that. The Cressida Go-Go one doesn't. So I really like that. It's sunflowers for July. And I started this on May 26th, and this is 115 stitches. Then we had, the next pull was the Lynette Song by Modern Folk Embroidery. So here's a picture of what the finished piece would look like. And this is where I'm at on that. This is a 32 count Lugana in charcoal. And I chose the Lugana over the linen for this because the charcoal on the Lugana has more of a faded black look to it. Whereas on the, let me compare it to you. I have a piece, just one second, let me grab it here. I did my, this was my Quaker floral puzzle. And this is also charcoal, but it's the linen. And so they have different, they dye differently. So the look on the Lugana was like a little bit lighter, like more faded than on the linen. And so that was the look I wanted for this piece. So I ended up going with the Lugana for this. So this is where I got to on that. I started this on May 27th. I did 113 stitches. And the blue for the border that you can see is DMC 926, and the cream color is DMC 3866. So, next we had another pull on the monthlies, which we're almost at the end. This is the second last one of this. But there is the monthly, which is September. And I started this on May 28th and did 101 stitches on this. So, and then we had Prairie Smoke by Carolyn Manning Designs. I'm going to put a picture of what the finished piece will look like. And then this is where I got to on that. See if I can hold it back a bit. Maybe fold it over. There we go. This is a 40 count Newcastle linen in pearl gray. I started this on May 29th and I did 312 stitches. So if you look closely, I didn't realize this was a 40 count. I thought it was a 36, and I always do 2 strands on 36. I don't think you can really tell from the video, but I ended up doing 2 strands on 40, and I wouldn't normally do that. So I don't know. I've done so many stitches and I don't want to pull it out. So I might just continue with the 2 strands. I didn't realize this was a 40 count when I started working on it. So that one is done. Next, okay, the last monthly one was August. Okay, here we go. August. So that is where I started for August. Little flip-flops. I started this on May 30th. And I did 108 stitches on that. So let me see if I can open this whole thing up. It's very much not divided evenly. So there you go. January, February, March, April. We have May, June, July, August. And then the bottom we have September, October, November, December. These are not divided evenly, but they're not going to stay as one piece. I'm going to be cutting it apart. So I only did it on one piece so that it would fit in my Q-snap better than cutting like individual pieces, and then I would have to use my smaller Q-snap, which I didn't want to do. So they will all work, but they just are not quite even on there. Okay, and we finally made it to my last Mania start. This was arguably the piece that I was looking the most forward to starting, and of course it got pulled last. But this is Seaside Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. I bought this a couple months ago, and I really wanted to start it, and then I was like, I'll just wait for Mania and put it in Mania, and surely I'll get it. Like, I mean, I thought I would get it like sooner than this, but obviously because it was the one I wanted to stitch the most, it came up last. So Seaside Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. And I just did this little bit. I started on this middle house. Decided to start in the middle because I'm not sure what my margins are on this piece. This was like a scrap that I had from something else. It got cut off something else, and I didn't know if it would it will fit, but I didn't know what my margins would be, so I started in the middle with that. And I am doing, this is a 36 count linen in flax, and I'm doing the DMC conversion that's provided in the pattern. And then the pattern also comes with the little beads that you use for the they go on, I think, like the crab eyes and the crab. There's like 3 crabs in there, and the beads go on for the eyes. So Seaside Tiny Town. I have never stitched any of the Tiny Towns yet. This was the one that appealed to me the most, but on the back of the pattern they also show the honey of a Tiny Town, and I do really like that one as well. So that might be the next one that I get. Okay. That was a lot of projects. That is all my Mania starts. So I ended up starting one project every day for the entire month of May. And what did I think of that? I am not a person who likes switching projects every day. I like to work on something for at least a couple of days before I switch it out. So by the end of the month, I was getting I think I was a little bit tired of switching. And so I was just kind of dragging through the end of the month. I did love every project that I started. I do love every project that I started. And so I'm excited that they're all started and now I can work on them. But I will be taking at least a couple days for each project. I do work on multiple projects in one day, but I usually have those out for a couple of days. So I'll have like my daily 100 piece will be out. I'll work on that for a bit. I usually have a full coverage out, and I usually have one other piece out. I will work on all 3 of those every day, but I like to do a couple of days of those before I switch them out for something else. So switching every day was not my favorite thing. But I do like that I have a lot of projects to choose from now, and I'm excited to keep working on those and see how many I can get finished before the end of the year. So I don't have a goal set right now for how many I want to finish by the end of the year, but I think it would be an interesting, it would be interesting to see how many I can get finished by the end of the year of my Mania starts, and how many I can get finished before next year's Mania. So for next year for Mania, it's still a long ways away, so I have time to think about it, but I probably will not be starting a new project every day, and I think I'm going to try and plan something different for Mania instead of starting something new every day. This worked for me this year because I had a ton of projects that were already kitted up that I had been waiting to start, and so they're all started now. I can keep working on them. They can go into like my rotation of stuff to work on. So the first one I think that I will work on to try and get a finish on is Crab Dance, because I think it's the closest to a finish, and it's small so I can keep it downstairs. So that will be the first one that I'll be trying to get a finish on. And beyond that, I will just see what I feel like stitching on. So June goals. WIPGO numbers got called. It was number 2 and number 25. So number 2 on my WIPGO board was actually the Beyond Venue burst sampler. I had put it on my WIPGO board because I thought if it gets called before I get it finished, then it'll be a WIPGO thing. But I've already finished it, so I'm going to swap that one with last month. I didn't finish. I only finished one of my May WIPGO goals, which was trimming the tree. I finished that, but I did not finish Before I Sleep. I needed to get 1,500 stitches done on Before I Sleep. So that one, I think I'll swap those two. So Beyond Venue, I did get 2,700 stitches last month on that, so I'll cross that off as finished. And this month I will work on Before I Sleep for 1,500 stitches. The second WIPGO goal was number 25, which for me is Fall on the Farm. I'm going to show you a picture of what the finished piece would look like. It's by Little House Needleworks as well. I'm doing them all. I'm doing all 9 on one piece of fabric, and I believe I have 1 or 2 finished. You'll see next time. But my goal for that one is to finish 1 square of that, so that's 1 pattern. So that will be what I'll work on as well. I have an Unearth Design Sal. I am going to try and work on catching up on that in June. I don't think I will fully catch up before the release on July 1st, but I just want to try and get as close as I can to finishing part 2 before part 3 comes out. After that, those are really all my goals that I have for June right now. I do want to keep working on my full coverage pieces as well. So those will be in, like I said, I usually have 1 small piece, 1 bigger piece, and then my full coverage piece that I have out. Like my daily 100, I have 1 other piece, and then I have 1 full coverage that I usually have out every day. So I'll keep working on those. But I believe that's all I have to talk about today. This was a bit of a longer video. I kind of like doing the shorter ones, which is why I like to I did enjoy filming every week, but doesn't always work out that way for me. So going forward, I don't know. It will either be every week or every 2 weeks. I am going back to work soon, so we get here in Canada, we can take either 12 or 18 months off for maternity leave. And that is coming to an end. I took 12 months, so I will be going back to work in about a month. So I know my stitch time will go down. So, and obviously filming time, opportunities to film will also go down. So I will likely be back on a every 2-week schedule. If I can film more often than that, I will, but beyond that, I think it'll be just every 2 weeks. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. The link will be below for my Etsy shop if you want to check it out, and I really appreciate if you do. And if you like this video and you want to see more of what I'm stitching on, please like and subscribe down below. I'm just so grateful for all of you who come and watch these videos every time I put them out. So thank you so much. Bye.